Okay, so February 13th, 2025. Just wanted to kind of show, you see there's some standing water down there. This part of the land is low. I'm standing on a slope that goes uphill. You see Maisie May over there. It's another low spot where water stands, but basically what I dug out was this. So this circle and that trench, it goes back that way. Now if you look over there, you can see the creek where it continues on. And if you look right there, where you can see that white top of that stake, it's right before where I put the water back to the creek. That's my property. And so the fence actually crosses back over way behind those trees, all the way around, so it's way back in that corner. Kind of where that cow is laying right now, a little bit this way. That's the corner of my property. And so that creek comes through the road. There's a road back here, through a culvert, comes into my property, goes all the way across here, right where Maisie just jumped across, all the way over to where I just showed you where this tree is falling down. Okay, and then it goes back out onto my neighbor Scott's property. And so Scott actually told me that the creek used to be here, because there was a depression here when I bought the place that always flooded whenever it rained really hard. And so all I did was dig out where the creek used to run anyway. But to do that, I had to put in a dam. And so the dam is a little sketch, I'll admit that. At first I had a nice dirt dam, and it was pretty wide and it was pretty big. I used the excavator to fill it in, and I planted grass, and we had one of these torrential rains. It survived the first one, and then we had a second torrential rain. It did not survive that one, so it washed it out. So all this sand right here, see that sand over there? When it rains hard, this entire area turns into a little creek, and all of this sand is deposited by it and goes right into that groove. Now that actually kind of helped me in a way, because it built up an area over here. My used to be Pet Boys banner that I used to lay on grounds. You can see right there how shallow that is. You see how the water's running right here? So this trench is what I dug. That's the overflow of my dam. It's made of metal and engineering stakes. I'm actually gonna go put a couple more in it because it's really struggling. But there's a lot of rock. That's bags of concrete, tarps, just all kind of stuff. And believe it or not, it works pretty well. So because you know it rained here recently, so as this drops, it's actually going to go back to right there in the middle where you see all the little debris, and it's going to pour out right there. And then I've also stuffed a bunch of debris in here, because this is where my dirt dam used to be. This is where the new grass seed was planted. Right here I had a dam, and like I said, it blew it out. And then on this end is where the water comes back. So I constantly have fresh water. Okay, so it comes in here, and I intentionally didn't dig here. So this is original, okay? And what you see over there is it's actually lower than here, so it actually soaks through this dirt over to that side. So I need to bring in a bunch of dirt here and a bunch of dirt over there. And that's on the to-do list. But right here, Ben, don't go swimming. He loves to go swimming. So the water runs right here. You can actually see where the grass is still underneath the water. That's a stick I put in the ground to see my water level. So anyway, it runs over here. And when I dug this, I couldn't dig any deeper because this was actually a trench. But right there is a big root or log or something. And so this just happened after I did that. And you can see that log over there. And that used to be a huge tree back there, and a piece of the tree stump back there. Then you see the debris that I'm hoping will one day become my beaver dam to back up my mechanical dam. It's just simply a matter of time. And then this should grow back grass and whatnot. But anyway, I have a constant supply of fresh water. You watched Finn drinking a minute ago. You see those little swirlies there? Those are minnows. I've already got some of those. And I've transferred crappie, or not crappie. No, I actually I have two crappie in here. I don't know if it's a male or female. I wasn't that detailed. And then a whole bunch of bluegill and a whole bunch of what's called creek chubs that are native to the creek. So from where I dammed it all the way back, it's deep enough to fish. And I catch a lot of those creek chubs. And then I actually fished yesterday, day before yesterday, and I caught a catfish. And I really don't want catfish in here, but I don't know how I'm going to stop it. So there's catfish, bluegill, crappie that I haven't recaught yet because I caught them somewhere else and released them in here. And I think over time it will become more infested with life. For sure, I found this out, which is interesting. But see this little dirt hill here? That one over there? This thing is riddled. I mean riddled with crawfish. So I don't like crawfish, but I bought some crawfish traps, and I can put out a crawfish trap and pull it out, and I'll have 15 or 20 crawfish in there. So I know crawfish are good for bass. I don't know if there's enough crawfish to feed more than one bass, so I really don't want any bass in here. And I'm not real sure if a small crawfish will feed a crappie, but if it will, then that's what I hope to have. But anytime I want, whenever fish are biting, and I've learned kind of to watch the weather and kind of feel this out, but if the fish are biting and I can come out here, throw a bobber and a hook in here with a mealworm or whatever, I will catch a fish. I mean, it's not a big fish, but I'll catch a fish every single time. And so that gives me something to do, kind of a easy going kind of thing. So you can see where I had to cut that tree up. I've still got a lot more work to do on that. When we had these torrential rains, these trees that are all part of this creek, and they're like a water tree. I mean, they're a tree that really needs a lot of water. That's why they're in the creek. But it got to the point where trees, and I mean, it's not just here, all over Henderson, all around the city, I mean, trees just started falling over because it was so wet for so long. I guess because we're coming out of the ice age. For those of you that don't know this, we're in an ice age, and we're not in the middle of it. We're not at the beginning of it. We're nearing the end of it. So guess what's going to happen? It's going to get warmer. What a bummer. It's going to be warmer. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Signing off.